Hi, welcome to session 8. This is your overview video, but before we get started, it also is the session where your core assessment 2 semester by semester plan of study is due. This was part 3 of that assignment, and it's where you were supposed to meet with your advisor and come up with the plan of study through graduation and include all the classes that you would be taking and when you thought you would be taking them. So that document is due this session. So be sure to upload that as well. But now let's get started. And I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about, if I were to tell you, or not tell you, but ask you, what academic skill do you think is most important? If you could only have one academic skill, what would it be? What would be the most important academic skill? Are you thinking math? Are you thinking science? Writing? Reading? How about computers? An academic subject that you think you could only pick one, what would be the most important? Public speaking? What would it be? I know you've only got to pick one. They're all important, aren't they? But I believe the root of all of them, if you only had the ability to read, you could then learn all those other skills. But without the ability to read, your ability to do those other skills always are challenged and struggle to learn the next step. So that's why this session on reading and studying is so important. Particularly how to digest academic reading. I mean, text messages are pretty cool and pretty easy and all that good stuff, but it isn't academic writing, which means when you go then to read it, you may feel overwhelmed. There's just too many pages. Or maybe you feel that it's overwhelming in terms of the content. Like, what is it really trying to say? You can't even carve out the time, or it just makes you tired, and so you can't prioritize it. And even when you do read, you seem to spend a lot of time getting nowhere. So this is a session designed to give you some tips to make that time valuable, meaningful, and memorable. So let's take a look at what's going on in this session. Okay, so your overview items, always, session overview items and resources, reading all the time, overview item, and understanding the writing process, because this is reading and writing. You take something in and then you communicate it back. And we do a lot of that in an online class, so it's a skill that is very valuable. Your session activities include read-write strategies that are discussed in your book, and there's a bunch of them, and then what is SQ3R? I'm just going to take a second to mention SQ3R. It stands for survey, question, read, review, recite. And basically the idea behind it is giving your reading some purpose. You know, if someone just says, read chapter 5, that seems overwhelming. Well, what is in chapter 5? And so flip through it, take a look at what's in chapter 5, and then ask yourself questions. Give yourself a scavenger hunt. Make it meaningful, and then go ahead and read it. And then you would take notes on it and review those notes. Anyway, so that is that system. Take a look at that. And then the final activity is analyzing a writing prompt. So you have to read a prompt and really understand what it's asking before you answer it. And a lot of times I think we are just a fast food society, and we are quick to already guess based on, you know, we don't have a lot of time. So based on some information, little information, we just jump right into things because we want to move on to the next thing. And we don't really fully understand what the question or the writing prompt is asking us. And then this is where I said core assessment 2, that plan of study document is submitted. And that is session 8 in a nutshell.